Most of you guys live in that type of lifestyle, innit? And it's very wrong. And Richard Hart knows that himself. Richard Hart, he wants to get involved with Africa. He's sick and tired. Richard Hart grew up, in a society in America where black people in a bad society, you get me? Where the system told him black people are shit. Black people ain't shit. But sorry about that, bro. When it comes to cryptocurrency, it's not about race, That's why this thing was developed. This cryptocurrency was developed for all of us to find our ways out of this shit, you know what I mean? This fucking banking system. These people, we put our money in their banks and they don't earn us no interest. But as a black man, yeah, this system are fucking hurting my fucking continent, Africa. The richest continent on the planet, where fucking the best wildlife on the planet comes from, the most minerals on the planet comes from, the fucking most fucking best thing on the planet comes from Africa or in the world. Just because you see skyscrapers and all this shit all around the world, it don't matter. Wealth, gold, diamonds, oil, all of that shit come from Africa. Original wealth. And this is why I believe the only reason I'm part of this community, because I'm part of many communities, the only reason I joined this community is because I believe in Richard Hart. Richard Hart is a big representative of white people of the normal society. Richard Hart showed me as an African who's sick and tired of people telling us that Africa needs charity. Africa needs water. When we hold everybody with a bone in the body knows Africa is the richest continent on the planet. But it's a joke, Because you guys make it a joke, innit? Because you guys think black people are joke people, innit? Those black people who runs in your Olympic, who wins your medal, who fucking play in your footballs, who's the best football players, who's the best everything, and representing what? Nothing. Because guess what? The game is still shut down by police. Racism is still there, and you guys don't want to help us. But Richard Hart grew up with us. Richard Hart grew up in the black society. And he said that many times on his cryptocurrency. That's the only reason I joined Pulsechain. And I'll be straight honest with you guys, yeah? I'm part of that community. I was trying to tell you earlier, but I'm part of a very important community itself in cryptocurrency that's called Drip. Hear this very well, yeah? Drip Network. I believe Drip Network is going to be major big. And I wish, sorry, man, this hot guy, man. I want to get involved in Drip Network. I don't know his name, mate, but I know Richard Hart will try. And all it takes us is we all share the responsibility of trying to change the system we live in. Because this system don't help none of us, mate. This system we're living in right now, you all know this, mate. It's fucking racist. It's bullshit. It's a banking system. They don't benefit nobody. They don't care about us. All they care about is sending troops to fucking Ukraine and weapons to Ukraine and our taxpayers' money. That's all it's about. Anybody on this chat right now, if any of you guys had a vaccine in your veins, you're idiots, because I have never taken a vaccine, mate. I've never trusted these people, mate. You know, when they're telling you you're on lockdown and you need to get out of COVID-19 and this bullshit, you took the vaccine.
Went to another channel, man. You're gonna start something that's not gonna end.
No, sorry, bro. I don't want to go there. Man. Sorry, man. I will get out of that. If you think, just tell me. The problem is, I was hoping I could speak to somebody, right? But and if you tell me to get off that course, it's all right. Yeah. Hey, talk back, mate. Why are you quiet, man? Are you guys here to listen or something? Hello. That's what I'm talking about, bro. You see, you guys here, you Americans, bro. You lot are different, mate. We from London, mate. We different out here, mate. You lot talking two, three things. Yeah, like it makes points, bro. You can't even back your own words, bro. Anyways, man, I'm not here to talk too much shit. I only came out for a few minutes, man, to educate the crypto community. I'm only here for the reason of the crypto community. We're different, mate. We as a crypto community, we came on the crypto blockchain, yeah, to not depend on the fucking block, on the fucking banking system. That's the only reason anybody who's in the cryptocurrency, who believes in the blockchains, came on here to be their own bank. I came on a cryptocurrency to be my own bank. I hope in the
Listen,
next
it's not.
couple of
Listen,
years, yeah.
listen. There's
Hey,
nothing
bro,
wrong
why are you
expressing.
talking though?
No, there's nothing wrong expressing your views, but when you start talking about vaccines, that's a whole nother rabbit hole you
All
don't want
right,
to go
I
down.
understand. I understand. I understand. Just tell me, just tell me, be honest. Freedom of speech, yeah. It's called freedom of speech for a reason, right? But I understand you totally right, bro. When it comes to those type of things, I didn't mention it again because I know it's very sensitive things. But shame on you, anyways. I'm not gonna mention that shit again, yeah. But shame on you for and back in that type of shit, back in that fucking evil shit, back in that demon shit, that devil shit. I'm not gonna mention that word you said. We don't wanna talk about that shit. As you telling us that fucking human beings on the planet right now that got scammed by these people. I'm not mentioning nobody, bro. I'm not mentioning nothing by words. Since you're so sensitive about this. But reality is, bro.
Dude, it's not about me. It's
Look, I
about
haven't
other
mentioned anything, so don't start starting bullshit.
people.
Yeah, I'm just trying to have my freedom of speech. Do we believe in freedom of speech? Answer me, bro.
Of
Answer me. Do
course,
you
of
believe?
course.
Do you respect freedom of speech?
Yeah, but this
Do
chat
you,
is not about talking about vaccines. It's about cryptocurrency. If you want to talk about cryptocurrency, that's
you
fine.
hear me,
But
bro?
vaccines,
I've only mentioned vaccine once, and I haven't gone back to that vaccine story again. So my point is, anyways, bro. Since you don't want to talk, anyways, I'm just want to educate. I want to talk out to the community, right, about cryptocurrency exactly, right? All of us came on cryptocurrency to find our own ways, find our own natural wealth. Meaning by natural wealth, mean like me as an African. I'm from Africa. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I'm from Africa. A lot of natural wealth is in Africa. Natural. When it's something is called, because when you're in Europe or Australia, America, when you see something natural, you see a stone or sand or like a metal or something. But in Africa, we see something called diamonds, gold on the floor. We see this type of different things. It's called natural. But what's the other natural thing God gave us? God, thank God, God brought cryptocurrency. Because guess what? Us African people who see natural wealth, who is from a natural rich continent on the planet, the richest continent on the planet, Africa, are suffering, bro, because of the system we live in. And most of you know this, bro, because you guys, most of you thinking, why is Africa poor? Why is Africa in this situation? Why do I have to send water to Africa? But reality is, most of you know this from the back of your head. Africa is the richest continent on the planet by far. Very simple, very, very, very simple. Anybody who would disagree with this, it means he's fucking mentally ill in his head. He's like gone crazy, and that's the reality. Because you believe that you watch on the TV that you have to help a starving kid in Africa and this and that. But reality is, because the world, Richard Hart has showed that shit. The only reason I would part of Pulsechain, Richard Hart, like he said in his interview, he grew up with black people. Black people struggle. He knows about black people struggle. Richard Hart is a white man in a black skin. To be honest, that's the only reason I joined this community because this guy respect as black people. He respect freedom of speech. He respect reality. He respect what's going on. He's anti this system that wants to lock us up. This system that wants us to pay our taxes to military power. America, this mighty America. In the all of these third world countries, Africa, Middle East, so-called these countries calling people come from somewhere, has never attacked any American country, any European state. But somehow these countries are suffering. That's reality. And this is why cryptocurrency we have to, as a community of cryptocurrency, have to stick together to make what's right. We have to. This is what takes us out of the banking system. Right now, mate, I could put my money, I could put my mortgage on a USDT. You know, if USDT will stay, I want something. I want to, first of all, crypto community people, brothers and sisters, and I'll be honest, you guys are brothers and sisters, brothers and sisters of crypto community. We need a stable fucking USDT wherever. We need something in cryptocurrency, nothing like Tether and all of these things. We need something that we can trust, and we need to build that something first of all. And if I can get my ideas to cross Richard Hart, he needs to bring a stable, stable currency, stable, trustable currency. And I believe, you know what? I have the best idea. You know what? I have the best idea. If Africa get free from racist people, racist, society that control the minerals, they're stealing from the minerals, because we all know Africa is the richest continent on the planet, but they have diamonds and gold, all of this type of shit, but people are stealing from them. The only reason I'm saying people are stealing from them is because reality is, how come you have to, people are telling you on a text message or YouTube message to send water to Africa when you know they're from the richest part of the world? That is the system, mate. We as crypto community have to fight against that system. If you're not racist, yeah, you have to stick on that system, because guess what? These people were enslaved or colonized for 400-500 years. Everything you live on the West, yeah, the metal, the coltan, the thing you have on your phone. Right now, I have a phone in my hand, yeah. That's a stone inside my phone. It came from Congo. Listen to me carefully. That stone that's inside your phone right now, that stone that's inside your laptop right now, that stone that's inside your fucking computer right now, came from Africa. It never came from America, never came from Australia, never came from everything. But how come African people are struggling? Because it's a racist society, something called white supremacy, which Richard Hart knows very much about. And bro, I'm so happy I'm in Pulsechain community right now, because it's freedom of speech in this community right now. Every time, I'm part of this community called Drip Network. Have you guys heard about Drip Network? Drip Network. Many people are saying it's a FUD network, it's a bullshit network. But let me tell you something. Drip Network is a very, very, very sustainable network. It's gonna be one of the best DeFi system of the next 2 to 3 to 5 years from now. The very best. Animal farm, all of this thing. And I know people like who's got close to Richard Hart, because guess what? People like me who come on this live stuff right now doesn't come on a daily basis, man. Real talk. People who talk from the heart, man. People who talk from their soul, bro. Don't come on this crypto community, bro. I represent any crypto community that talk the truth, who represent freedom of speech, who's anti-racist, who's with freedom, people, freedom. The only reason I'm in cryptocurrency, to be honest with all of you guys, I'm here for freedom. I'm with the freedom of putting my money in a bank that I can trust. I want to put my money in my bank. I don't even trust the bank. God brought me something called cryptocurrency. But we have a problem, crypto community, all of you guys, brothers and sisters out here, we have a problem, like I said earlier, Tether, USDT, USDC. We need something that's sustainable for the next 50 years, that we can trust, that we can put my money in. Like I'm trying to get straight back to that right now. If Richard Hart can get contacts with Africa, because Africa is the richest continent on the planet. Africa has got something called gold, diamonds, platinum, uranium, coltan, copper, all of these minerals that makes Africa at least 700 times richer than America. At least America. Europe maybe 800, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 times. But guess what? Africa minerals, just like a month ago, Uganda, if I'm an idiot, guys, you guys knows the news. You know what's going on in social media. Uganda found so much gold, yeah, that is unbelievable. I'm a African from Somalia. Somalia has got so much gold, so much diamonds, so much fucking Rubens, so much anything, any minerals that makes anybody rich on our planet. Yeah. But how come we each African have to share a different country? Because European split us up. But I want cryptocurrency. But guess what? Anyways, both you guys are in Pulsechains right now, yeah? Something big is coming very, very soon. Because guess what? You guys will never see someone like me on your live stream again, maybe. Or maybe you might see. This is the first time I came on you. Something big is coming on, and I'm going to give you the biggest bull, bro. You know why? It's even exciting for me to tell you this type of shit. Something called A coin. Have you guys heard about A coin? Somebody talk to me in the chat. I'm gonna mute, yeah?
No third-party discussions.
A coin, mate. You know about A coin? Talk to me, mate.
No, I don't, but we're not allowed to talk about other projects in here. If there was
okay, I understand. It's sad, you know. I understand that.
I do like a lot of what you're saying.
I'm not gonna mention that shit. I'm gonna mention that shit again. I respect that, you know. I'm gonna talk all the way around it. I respect that, yeah. But I'm just gonna go back to what I was talking about. I'm gonna, bro, respect, you know. Bro, can I ask you something?
Yeah, sure.
Do you respect black people in America?
Yeah, for the most part.
Okay, do you respect that black people came from Africa? You understand that? In America.
I mean, I wouldn't say that it's so much a respect thing, but it's a fact that they did.
It's a fact, right? So it's a fact that they came from Africa, right? Do you understand Africa is the richest continent on the planet by very far? Is that something that maybe in your head understand something logically in your head?
No, I honestly didn't think that, but now that you say about all the precious minerals that they have there, that kind of made me think, you know, oh, that's a pretty good point. They do have most of the minerals, so in a way they would be the wealthiest nation.
I'm very happy, yeah, that, you know, I would have gone, you know, to be honest with you, I would have, you know, I respect your honesty, yeah, because I would have gone further, like, you know, I thought you might have been disrespectful, but I respect your honesty, because guess what, you know, and you said something, you know, you understood. Very important is you understood, yeah. I'm from Europe, right? I live in the UK, yeah. But the problem is, yeah, and black people all over the planet suffering, right? Racism. And reality is, like you understood yourself, precious mineral, you know, gold, diamond, coltan, something you have to put in your phone, something like you have to drive your electric car. They were telling us right now, the planet are telling us the planet is in a, imagine this, yeah, the people, they came from slavery, they came from colonization, and the future of the white supremacy system is called white America, Britain, and, you know, Europe. Yeah, they're telling us, yeah, that and we have to switch to electric cars. But guess what? That material to power those electric cars does not come, you know, from America. It doesn't come from the sand of the coast of America. It doesn't come from the sand of the coast of Britain, any of these countries. It comes from Africa. But the question is, you know, when you guys enslave black people, sorry, bro, I'm telling you something. I'm Richard Hart respect freedom of speech, and he's mentioned this type of freedom of speech. Yeah, and I'm not here to represent any. I promise you guys, I'm just here to bring educational purpose. Yeah, and you know the reason is, you know, the more I talk about this, I hope I respect you guys are listening, because that means you're respecting, right? Black people has been suffering for the last 1,000 years. Black people has been the greatest people for many, many, many thousand years. Even by the time the Egyptian time, right? By the time we came across white people, we've been suffering, you know, this system of white supremacy who's telling us to, you know, bow down, you know, like allow us white people. And let me tell you something. I grew up with white people. I'm with white people my whole life. I know for a fact, 70% of white people are anti-racism. But the system is racist. There's only 30% left. Right now, 2022, racism is about to die out. From this far right racism,
bro.
you know. You know, bro,
I
reality,
hear
bro.
you. I hear
And
you,
that's
and
why
I
I
agree
love
with
my
you
black
100%.
American brothers, you know. You see these brothers in America who have to fight hard to be a gangster rapper who became a face. You know, this YNBW, this guy represent the hood, you know. All this American. In the UK, everywhere, bro, black people are talented. You know, in the NBA, we're talented. Imagine these black people, yeah, who suffered so
Yeah.
much. They're the
You
best
know,
of the
we
NBA,
just
best
got
of
the
this.
microphone. Adam, we just got the microphone open. We want to keep this open for people to talk post-chain. I mean, I don't disagree with what you're saying, but you know, we don't want to get the microphone open to, you know, let it go wild. So let's try to keep it post.
No, yeah. I'm gonna keep it pause. I'm gonna go back to pause. So I just want to go straight back to pause. Yeah, I don't want to keep it too far away from pause. My whole mission was, you know, just to come out to learn about the community, stick with the community, to learn a bit more about the community. Because I see you guys, you on my Telegram, right? And like I said, you know, I'm with this part, you know, called Drip Network. I don't want to mention again. Very good community as well. Have very, very, very far places to reach in the DeFi system, right? Like I said, right? And keep it very short, yeah. We as a blockchain community, we should try to get closer to Africa because the natural wealth is in Africa. If we can get trusted with something, just one mineral from Africa to be backed by pole chains will never go down. You know that? That's a fact. So
Yeah,
you have
that's
to
why,
be
you know,
smart, man.
post-chain helps. It helps take the barrier of entry. You know, you try to people Ethereum, and just the price alone just kind of turns away the average investor to where, you know, the little guy doesn't stand a
Brother,
chance. They can't even get
let
in
me
the
tell you
game.
something. I hear, listen, by the name on that, I see it now, but I hear, you know me as an African, I hear the black inside you in it. And I say salute to you in it. I don't want to say much. I'm about to leave the conversation. What I'm trying to say to you, brother, is you see your ancestors, you see your granddad, yeah? They
Yeah.
in my spirit. You understand? Your great granddad, guess where I'm from? I'm not even a descendant of slavery, right? I'm a Somali. You know Somali. Have you heard about Somali people? Have you ever heard about Somali?
Yes, sir.
Mm. Somali people, right? They're in America right now. But I want to tell you a quick secret about Somali people. They've always defended black people in Africa, especially when those ships came to Africa, right? They were defending it from day one. You know, we always keep enemies away from Africa, you know, from our people. So I just want to keep a quick message for you, bro, that, you know, 2022, we're in 2022 right now, right? By
Yeah.
2030, black people are going to win. And I'm not saying by winning meaning, but we're going to find our dignity. You see this racism that's going on in America, in Europe, in Africa. People will learn. When the people learn black people come from the richest part of the world, is when they will realize where we're from. And salute for you, brother. Sorry to keep you long, yeah? And I say salute to the crypto community of Paul
No, no
Chains.
problem.
And we need to come together,
Once
bro.
we realize that once we know that we're one nation, you know, that's when we'll get, you know, the unity we
Exactly,
need.
brother.
You know, we need to know that the whole black country is one
Brother,
country.
I salute what you're saying right now, bro. I salute what it is. Whatever you're saying right now is something that's going in my system, you know, my bloodline, you get me? And I hear that shit is going in your bloodline as well. Because guess what, bro? We are up, you know, lions are the strongest predator on the planet, right? Am I lying? Am I wrong right now? Where lions are they the strongest predators on the planet?
Grizzly bear or polar bear.
No. When it comes to something like a bionics and techniques and all of that, grab you by from the back and all of that. Be honest, bro. Lions right now 2022. If you put a lion against a grizzly bear, you know, your grizzly bear might be bigger. You're right, bro. Anyways, you're right. I'm gonna go back to the story. I'm gonna go back to what I was saying. Yeah, lions are dangerous predator, right? That's what I'm trying to say. Lions are dangerous predator, right? Black people, lions sleeps 16 to 18 hours a day. It's only 24 hours a day, right? Lions sleeps at least 16 hours a day. They only hunt for 8 hours, right? Lion loves to hunt at nighttime. But guess what? Black people have been sleeping for fucking hundreds of fucking years, you know? Sorry for my language, yeah? And guess what, bro? Reality show us, bro, that we follow people like Black Lives Matter, all that. I'm with Black Lives Matter, bro. But guess what? Black Lives Matter don't matter in America. It doesn't matter in Europe. It matters in Africa. Let me tell you why.
That's a bar.
Africa,
That's a bar right there.
Africa,
Black
Africa
lives matter. Don't
is
matter.
Africa. Africa is where we come from originally, bro. Af- Africa is the richest continent on the planet. You know, by very far. There's only one country in Africa. It's 100 times richer than America by far. We all know this. A country called Congo. Forget about the Congo. I'm from a country called Somalia, right? Where American ships used to pass us, and they used to dump nuclear waste in my ocean, you know? And something called piracy started it. Have you heard about piracy?
Yeah.
Pirates.
They made movies about
Somali
it.
pirates. People are telling you Somali pirates people are bad. But guess what? How come American ships are allowed to come in my ocean and dump nuclear waste when the best fish, the most expensive fish, the most fish revenue on the planet comes from the ocean of Somalia? Because these people don't care about black people, no matter where they're from. As long as the black people is the bottom of the fucking ocean. And guess what? We had to change that shit. Because guess what? My granddad suffered racism. His granddad suffered more racism. My great granddad suffered more racism. It has to come to an
I'd
end,
like
bro.
to break in here. I'd like to break in here.
Mate,
Remind
Mr.
everybody and
American,
say,
mate. Well,
this is a
respect, mate.
blockchain crypto
I
chat,
understand. You hear
not
that, brother?
a
My African brother,
not
hear what
a
he's saying.
not a
Just
talk
hear this,
about
bro. I hear
racial
clearly
issues
what's going on.
chat. Okay.
I hear what's
got
going
you.
on, mate. I respect that. I respect that, mate. Just calm down. We haven't talked about any other cryptocurrency, but just calm down. I understand it hits your nerves. You hear your reality, you know. But sometimes respect black people, because guess what, bro? Reality is, bro, we had enough, mate. If you don't like it, mate, just get out of the room. But if you get out of the room, you have to go towards the sea. Because guess what?
You're crossing a line now. Don't tell me to leave the room, but I'm just asking you to talk about crypto stuff and not racial stuff. I don't
No,
care
mate.
how passionate you are.
Cryptocurrency is called freedom of expression. It's called freedom of benefits, you know, money. The only reason they create a blockchain is to be free from the banking system. And I'm representing that fucking future right now. So if you have a problem with that, mate, you think that reality of what's going on, because guess what? What I'm saying to you is just one man saying to you right now, but 99% of black people think that's exactly the same way I feel. So if you have a problem with me, talk to 99% of black people, mate. So just calm down.
I
Sit it
agree
down.
with what you're saying. I agree with what you're saying, but if there was a mod or an admin in here, they would have muted you by now. Just saying.
I understand, bro.
I support what you say. I support
no, bro,
what
I'm
you
not here for
say.
a long time, bro. I just got carried away. To be honest, bro, my plan wasn't even, listen, I'm charging my phone. I got fucking USB, what's it called, power bank to charge my phone. My phone is at 14%. I just want to get involved, you know, to say a couple of words. I got carried away. You know, when like sometime, you know, when I get carried away and I have something, you know, in my mind and that, I have to express it, man. Because guess what it is? You guys tell us, you know, since we live in the Western world, you tell us freedom of speech. It's freedom of speech, you know. But sometimes when we say something that really freedom, you get offended. But for some reason, you know yourself.
I'm not offended. It's off
the
topic.
Truth. It's the truth, you know. Now I understand. I'm not saying nothing. Let me tell you something. The only reason I came on here is that I tried to get Pulsechain involved with Africa. I told you there was something called A-Coin, which is Acorn. You know, Acorn created currency. I don't want to get, you know, said don't say other people's currency and that. I was trying to get, you know, people involved with Africa. I know Richard Hart grew up with black people who understand the mission. He respects freedom of speech, mate. You know, this guy, the only reason I'm speaking on this channel is because of this guy, you know, Richard Hart, the developer of this fucking currency, you know. Sorry my language, bro, because it's passion out here. Passion means we are sick and tired of racism, mate. You know, we're in a free world. I want to feel free to say what I want, mate, on any channel when it comes to cryptocurrency. We don't work with American government, mate. We should not work with American government. Fuck American government, right? Fuck English government. Fuck anybody who's got a hold on us that can ban us in the future. Tell us that we can't trade our cryptocurrency in on a blockchain or fucking what's it called, Binance or all of that shit. You know what I mean? We don't. We should not respect those people because these people want to make us poor, mate. Want us to work us 9 to 5 and that. We work 9 to 5, mate. The money we scrape together to put in cryptocurrency is to get out of 9 to 5. That's the reality, mate. That's passion right here. I'm telling you right now. That's the only reason I'm in cryptocurrency, mate. That's why I'm with this shit, you know, to the end. This ship has to sing with all of us inside it, mate. If they want to fucking shoot this ship down of cryptocurrency, we sink it all together, mate. Every single person who got cryptocurrency in their account, we sink it together with this. Because guess what? When they sing our ship, we anti-system. We anti this type of system. And they know this, mate. We have to, in the next election, yeah, we have to make it right. We have to say it straightforward. If any government, American, if the next election is Donald Trump and this fucking Sleepy Joe,
Thank goodness.
I tried to warn you, brother. I told you you were going to get muted. If you can hear me, I agree with what you say, but I kept warning you you were going to get muted, and it happened.
I mean, I'm an admin in not this group, but in other groups, and you just need to. It's okay to talk about stuff. It's okay to bring up things, talk for 5 minutes, but you can't monopolize the entire chat on subjects that are completely off topic for an extended period of time, especially when people politely ask you maybe to come back on the topic. Like, you know what I mean? And you don't tell somebody to chat if they don't like when you're really talking about something off topic. But on other news, there is no news. So that kind of stuff. Right. Keep in the chat to chat. So whoever wants to talk. So a large number of people who are asking when in chat all day. I wish I knew. Chat knew. But Richard will let us know when it comes.
I can chime in with a question. I'm not sure if this goes into like third party. This is a project that got announced on Pulsechain from one of the prominent people who kind of had a spat with Richard recently. Right, I'm talking about, but it's a fiat on ramp, and I'm not really sure how all that works legally and all that stuff. But does a fiat on ramp also imply a fiat off ramp, or are those completely different things?
When you talk about fiat, what you're talking about is that is regulated the U.S. dollar, and it's in a link a bullshit to their exchange. They could trade USDC or they could $2. And so by a fiat app, you're talking about you can move US from a bank to bank account, and then you can get US dollars for, which specifically we're talking about Pulsechain, you can do it like on their platform, and you can move that Pulse, and you can move Pulse from like their wallet, their custodial wallet on that exchange to your wallet on Pulsechain, and that's by a fiat on ramp. And there are several entities that are looking into that, getting one up. Rich said that he absolutely will to long that we're talking about. He's not the boogeyman. Around forever. He's over game Overwatch today. He's looking stuff. I don't know what he actually looked. What project he's looking to do, but he put out today. Kinetics talked about the Dissyndicate group, and they're talking about they're doing channels. Maybe they're looking into that fiat on ramp kind of thing. It's all hearsay. It's like in development, like when one will be launched. You know what I mean? And since Pulsechain isn't launched yet, development.
Yep, gotcha. Your mic is kind of breaking up. But in addition to the fiat on ramp, would it be bi-directional, like the other way from Pulse to fiat, but also useful, like arguably more useful?
I left and I came back. Can you hear me better?
Yeah, that's way better.
Yeah, that happens. Telegram sucks. So you were saying, I think I missed what you were saying.
I was just saying, like, if it's defined as a fiat on ramp, like the other direction, being able to move from Pulse to fiat or crypto to fiat is arguably like as, if not more important. Is that a separate function? Is that a separate project?
No, they're the same. If you own US dollars, say Coinbase, use Coinbase as an option. A lot of people, I use Coinbase. You can move US dollars from your bank to Coinbase, and then you can buy Ethereum with that US dollar. And then you can move the Ethereum on the Ethereum chain, right, from their custodial wallet that they're custodying for you to your own wallet, say MetaMask or Treasure, hopefully, right? Well, right now Pulsechain doesn't exist, but after Pulsechain launches, we're not sure like what entity will be that regulated entity that's going to have the ability to hold US dollars and directly transfer into Pulsechain. Like we just don't know like who's going to do that. What entity, what person is actually going to make that like happen? Several entities, what you're all saying. So you can go from Pulsechain to US dollars to your, or you can go from your bank the exchange to the definition.
Okay, gotcha. Thank you. What it looks like all the providers of that function have certain limitations. Are those limitations set by the entity themselves, or are those government regulated, or is that remains to be seen?
Very little in this is actually now. What are you talking about? Of course, that's the regulated. Like Coinbase, literally could like list Pulsechain the day after it launches if it wants to. Like this decision. It's a technical limitation because Pulsechain it's Ethereum, right? Yes. Like they can split the code already to integrate Pulsechain wallets into their system. They would need to chain node and then would do some development to get like super for them. Probably the easiest development in the history of development. Anyway, it's a business decision, right? What they list a token, because there are a lot that are, I mean, in my opinion, are trash. Enough trading volume worthwhile for them to list it because volume they can make money on it. They will list. Sheep comes up all that's an right. So it's not a tech limitation. It's really not even a government limitation. But they can hide behind that really just a business decision on their all of them.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Time, but I will see. Correct. I was muted. I was talking. I was saying, eventually, I hope that PulseX, all these exchanges, not gonna happen like one. That's it. How the act change, right? Of this version, yes. What brings up a lot in his videos is that Pulsechain is around. Ethereum is a thing, and say is. So the hope is will be treated better than Hex, and it'll be like gateway drug for Hex to be onboarded. You cut for some chain, and then stay. Anybody like questions they've always wanted about, like maybe they didn't want other
Not right
things going
now.
on.
Listening. No questions for me right now. I'm just listening.
All right. Well, this is my chain and time. Hang out in the silence. For come in, I think it's really all for the chat to like revive it. Kind of got squished. I know. Would hang out 5 minutes, be muted, nobody would talk, and then other things. A little while for people to chat that we don't really news.
I don't know if it was me or you, Gamma, but I could not understand a single word you said.
You can hear me? Can't understand.
It was like
Yeah,
robotic.
but you're just super choppy. We hear you though.
Oh, it might be my internet. Let me off and then come back in.
Surprised no one said anything.
How's this? Better?
Much
Yeah.
better.
I'm on my back deck, and the internet, the Wi-Fi gets really shitty here. So sometimes I have to drop off the Wi-Fi and go to cell and Telegram.
That makes sense.
Sometimes I forget to put my earphones in my AirPod, I get earpods or whatever. And for whatever reason, my iPad mic is total trash. And of course, I'm not going to buy a new iPad just for the mic. I just put my earphones in.
Yeah, earbuds are better investment.
Yeah, I got like 5 of them because so here's a funny story, and nobody's talking. So here's a little anecdote. I have a bad habit of like putting my earpods in the back pocket of my shorts, and then my wife washes them. So there was a time where I was like literally buying a new pair like every week, and then I bought like 5, and then my wife got like the ability to like look in my back pocket, and then she would put them aside, and so I kept on buying them. So now I have like 5 pair because she just gave me 3 one day and said, "Oh, these were over here in the laundry room," and you're like, "Oh." So I probably shouldn't have bought like 3 of them. So I got like $1,500 worth of fucking Apple AirPods. So I'm good for a while.
Jesus. My wife's done the same thing, man. She actually watched her iPods, not iPods, her earpods twice, and she lost one of her earbuds at work, and she didn't notice it when she was taking a shit. So yeah, I had to end up buying like, I think I had to buy her 2 pairs. I was so pissed at her too.
Yeah, so that was a thing. She was always mad at me too about me doing it. And I was like, what are you gonna do? I mean, I don't know. Like I need these earpods. So, I just went to the store and bought some. I will buy infinite amount of earpods if I have to.
Exactly.
That's my hex flex of the day. Being able to afford a $200 fucking earpods because I wash them way too often.
That's a pretty good hex flex there.
It's the best one yet. I don't need Gucci. I just need to be able to afford, electronics whenever I need to buy them.
Yeah, it sounds like what I'm gonna be doing. Oh, by the way, so that issue with the MetaMask and Trezor connection, I don't know if it's because I did not connect my Trezor suite first or not, but I tried it a few times just to test it out. When I connected it with the Trezor suite on, it finally worked like after a few minutes. Then I redid it. I had to redo it a few times just to be on the safe side. Um, I tried it again without the Trezor suite on, and it didn't work. Waited a few minutes, still didn't work, and I just redid it again with the Trezor suite on, and it somehow worked. So I think you have to have Trezor suite on, even though I know you're not. You don't really have to.
You need to have it installed for the bridge. You have to have a Trezor bridge so that your Trezor will connect through the hardware to the USB, which is obviously installed with Trezor Suite. So as long as you have Trezor Suite updated, it'll have the current version of the bridge, and then it just connects to MetaMask. You don't have to have the Trezor Suite open. It's helpful to have it installed. Otherwise, you got to like install the bridge separately, which you can totally do. But I like to use the suite, Treasure Suite. It's useful to have.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. I mean, I remember Papa Boner talking about it, and he said you don't really have to have it open as long as you have it installed and updated and everything. So yeah, that just kind of confused me, and I was like tripping out.
No, yeah, it's a backend. It's just a program that runs that connects your treasure to the hardware. But yeah. So as long as you can figure it out, you're good. Sometimes you have to like reboot your system.
For sure. Yeah, because I just got some more USDC, and I just finally set my first limit order up. So yeah, I'm just hoping that thing goes through.
Yeah, well, at least you're using a hardware wallet. When I bought my first hardware wallet, it was in the summer of 2017, and I had to like literally send Bitcoin to the treasure company in the Czech Republic, and they shipped me a treasure from their home office to my house. So because I couldn't get my bank card to work with their website, it just blocked it. So I said, "Fuck it." So I ended up using my Keep Key, which I haven't used in 5 years because it's pretty worthless. I mean, it holds Bitcoin. I think you can hold Ethereum on it, but it doesn't really do the Web3 stuff like MetaMask, right? So, yeah, I'm very happy with my treasure.
Yeah, I'm still very happy with my treasure. Beats a ledger, at least from what I hear.
Yeah, the some of the troubleshooting you need to do with the ledger. It's one of the systems that, like, once you learn how to use the ledger, then it's no problem, and it works just as good as a treasure. But I just started with a treasure because I actually have a friend who's in Prague. He lives in the Czech Republic that I know. I actually just talked to him on Telegram, which I haven't talked to the dude in like 2 years. But like he's from the Czech Republic and he knows the CEO of Treasure. So I was like, well, I guess you know the dude, so and you vouch that it's a good hardware wallet, then I'll go get one, right? And this is like 5 years ago.
Yeah, I remember you were talking about that like a while back, like a few months back, when some people were asking about what hardware wallets to get.
Yeah, because fun fact, like the first Bitcoin conference in 2011 was in Prague with, I don't know, 20, 30 people or whatever. I wasn't there, but this guy was. So he knows all the people from like the early days of Bitcoin, who some of them actually mined Bitcoin and kept it. So he knows some very wealthy people from like the Bitcoin space. And luckily, he's not a Bitcoin maxi. So, but he's not actually. And I couldn't get him. I couldn't get him in the hex, and, and I haven't been able to get him in the Pulsechain. But he's got his own stuff going on, which is cool.
Oh man, you got to get me into Hex, man.
Yeah, no, I tried. He's like XRP guy, and I gave him all the information, and then he never wanted to do it. And this is like when it first launched, so he's he's like 2 years late to the game already.
Bro, I was about to get into XRP as my first crypto, um, but I decided not to. I decided to just like look at the Telegram group and just kind of see what's going on. Because one of the guys that I worked with at a dispensary, he was actually one of the assistant managers. I was a manager. Um, he was telling me about it. He got a few people into XRP. I mean, he still has them in XRP right now. It's just after hearing about Hex and learning about, all the different coins and, what XRP is doing, I'm like, yeah, good thing I go for it.
Yeah. So I mean, other than bringing up the name a couple times, but yeah, I'm a absolute like I have never liked that project. I never thought that it was a good project at all. And so far, I'm okay. I'm sticking with that. I'm happy where I'm at.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, I would also like to add on that I don't like XRP either. It's not real crypto.
It never seemed so to me, and I do my due diligence, and so you can't bullshit me. And I look at something, and I go, I don't know. You do you, man. I'll do me.
Yeah, I've had so many people try to get me turned on to XRP, and I go, it's not decentralized. They go, yes, it is. And I'm like, okay, so the ledger, only so many people, you got to get voted in to run the ledger, right? To like do the transactions. And they're like, yeah. I'm like, okay. So if they wanted to seize a transaction, they could. That's why they only let so many people handle the transactions on the ledger. That's why you have to be voted in and approved. And I'm like, so there's a third party, a central group that controls it, right? They're like, well, yeah. I'm like, that's not decentralized. No, it is.
Yeah.
It is. No, it's not.
So here's the difference. So here's the difference, right? So Pulsechain has 33 validators. The difference between a lot like EOS, you have to literally like know a dude to be a fucking validator on EOS, right? Like a lot of them are like that, where you literally have to do an application. There's a vetting process. You have to get signed off by it's literally like if Pulsechain validators had to send an application to Richard, he had to do an interview with you before you could be a validator. Like that is not decentralized. That is like the definition of not decentralized, which is like EOS, which is like fucking EXRP, which is like a lot of these, right? DPoS systems. Now with Pulsechain, anybody with 500,000 Pulse can register a validator. And then if you just be active in the community, you can get probably enough delegate to like be a validator. If you run a server, like right now, literally right now, somebody who's wants to be a validator on Pulsechain can get on testnet, learn what they're doing, run a good server, be active in the community, get a bunch of people to delegate to them. When Pulsechain launches, you can be a validator on Pulsechain. Like there's no vetting process. The vetting process is, are you competent enough to run a validator without getting slashed? And can you communicate with the community so they can know who the fuck you are? Like not even your name, like a Twitter handle or a Telegram handle. Like that's all you need, and show competence, and you can be a validator. And if you don't show competence and you're a validator, an active one, then you're going to get like booted out, and then all your delegates going to get moved to other more competent validators. And it's very decentralized in that way. It's very democratic kind of, in that way, which is much different than a lot of other systems that are delegated proof of stake.
Interesting.
So, I mean, the whole decentralized part of Pulsechain is actually incredibly annoying because we get people who register to be a validator who don't actually have hardware. We have people who register to be a validator, run hardware, and they have like absolutely no reason to no competence to be a validator, and they get slashed constantly and they get kicked constantly, and then eventually they're no longer active validators, no matter how much delegate they have. Eventually the community comes up and they just raise the bar, which is what happened on V2B. There were some bad validators that had a lot of delegate, like billions and billions of delegate, and then the community basically just was like everybody just started putting Pulse on the good validators, and then the amount of delegate that you needed to be a top 33 just increased until those bad validators that had a bunch of delegate were out. Like it worked the way it's supposed to work, and there's no application process.
Yeah, you definitely got to put into work if you're going to be a validator for sure. I mean, I can't, so.
No, you need to know what you're doing. You need to have enterprise grade servers, hopefully in a data center, either a managed data center or your own actual data center where you're competent and you can have multiple internets multiple power, like Wikipedia used to have their own data center. They probably ran out of AWS now, but like back in the day when they first launched, they had a data center and they were racking their own servers, and they write like literally a data center, but it's privately owned. That's fine too. Some validators are doing that. They're doing small private data centers, but these are people that actually know what they're doing, hopefully, right? Or you can
Yeah.
run it in like a DigitalOcean or AWS or whatever. And so you have a managed data center that you are basically on the website, on the command line, configuring it up, running the server, and it's all like, delegated out. The management of the servers and stuff is all delegated out. That's also fine as long as that's distributed and you don't have 33 servers all in one data center, right? Which is, you can tell, but from the IP addresses where they are, geographically.
All right. So does anybody have any questions? Besides when Pulsechain?
Yes, win Lambo.
Exactly. That's what I want to know. Win McLaren, because I'm not going to buy a Lambo.
Yeah, I literally built my son a Lambo for it was a car that I got a long time ago for his birthday. I just finally built it. I freaking made a video on Instagram and I tagged Richard Herm like I got my Lambo now, just waiting for Pulsechain.
Yeah,
It was one of those models.
Yeah, like one of those little RC, like not the RC cars, but it's like one of those cars that they could sit in and then it had a remote so I can control it. It was pretty funny.
Oh,
yeah.
sweet.
My little niece has the exact same thing you're talking about.
Dude, it's badass, man. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, they are pretty cool. But yeah, even I'm not going to buy a Lambo either. Even if I had $10 million, I would not buy a luxury car. That's me. I'm still going to drive my little used $5,000 cars. I'm not going to, I don't like liabilities. I like assets. And that's what I've learned with cryptocurrency and investing throughout the years is I want to have things that make me money. I don't want things that cost me money because I don't want to have to work.
Yeah.
I want to work for myself. I don't want to.
Yeah, 10 million is not enough to buy a Lambo. 100 million, 500 million, yeah. Or maybe I'll buy a McLaren if I have, over 200. If I have over $100 million. But even then, I'm like, I don't know. McLarens are kind of expensive. We'll see. We'll reevaluate that. One day, maybe if that ever happens for me, I'll have a choice to make.
Yeah, I'm probably not gonna buy a Lambo either. I'm probably just gonna get a nice little Toyota Corolla.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, here.
I'm still in the transitory period where I actually got rid of all my debt, and I'm debt free, and now I'm like in that nice space where I have money, I'm good, but I don't have a lot of debt, and I'm going to live in this space for a little while, at least for the next 3 or 4 years, and the next bull market comes up. Pulsechain's awesome. Maybe it's McLaren time. We'll see.
Yeah, that's how I am. I want to get rid of all my debt and I want to be able to work for myself and not be dependent on other people for my income. And I really want to open up my own businesses, maybe even start my own crypto project. But I'm very, very far from that. and I doubt I'll ever make a crypto better than Richard Hart. So.
Yeah, that was my aim for Hex as well. I just wanted to be debt free. I think everybody who's, or at least some of these guys who are in here, definitely are in here just to, to make money, be debt free, especially for me. But yeah, that's just my main goal. It's just to be debt free, have some money on the side, freaking be like DJ Cryptomatic and just DJ stream on Twitch all day.
Yeah, it's the last bull market was able to like get me out of my debt, student loans, my car, and then like even in the bear market, I have enough capital that I'm riding the bear market out, and then come out the other side, and we'll see what happens in the next bull market with Pulsechain and everything. I mean, it's the life. It takes a long time. It took me 5 years to get here. 5 years in crypto, a life's journey, and it's not even started. It hasn't even really finished yet, right? I haven't really gotten to where I really want to go. I'm just like in a midway point on my life's journey.
Yeah,
April.
I had 3 opportunities in my hands ever since I was in crypto to be a millionaire, and something would always prevent me from it happening.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean that twice. That happened to me twice, so I hear you.
Oh, here's the Papa himself.
Oh no. So I'll tell you. You just said that you had opportunities to become millionaire from crypto, but it was failed. You failed to envision that or like actually execute on it. Like here's my story. In the 2018, I was in a crypto. I'm not going to say the name. It's still fine. It did okay in the next bull market. But the point is, I owned like 1 million of this token that I won't say the name of. It's like another protocol, whatever. It doesn't matter what the name is. But I had like 1 million of these. It was worth 30 grand. That 30 grand when Hex launched was worth 300,000. So if I actually was able to keep that crypto instead of losing my job, using it to pay my rent, take care of my family, struggle to find a job, get a job, blah blah blah, start up from scratch. If I hadn't lost my job, then I would have had a few hundred grand that I could have put a portion of that into Hex, and I would have done really well. Well, life didn't work out at that particular time for me, but I kept at it, and I got a new job, and I worked my ass off, and I put in crypto like a couple $100 a paycheck, and I had to start over again, and like now I'm good. But that actually happened like twice for me, where I put in a few $1,000s, could have made 1 million, shit happened, went to zero, started from zero again, made like what could have been very good money, shit happened, and so this is like the third time for me in 5 years. So I don't know. You just got to keep at it. Is basically the point of the story. Perseverance.
Yeah, I had the same similar situation. I had an entire Bitcoin before the last bull market hit, but I had a work injury, and I was just gonna go out and I was gonna move out of my house so I didn't have to spend all of it to pay rent, and I was gonna just travel, hitchhike, do the dirty hippie kid thing, and play my music so I didn't have to lose my Bitcoin. And then I started having a weird undiagnosed health problem where I started having seizures and stuff, and I really didn't want to be out on the streets having seizures. So I slowly sold it all to pay rent, and right when I sold the last of it, that's when that bull market started. It was so devastating. And I was I right when I got into crypto in 2018, I was just on YouTube watching videos, and then a Richard Hart video randomly played, and I decided to give it a chance. And I was like, wow, this guy is kind of a dick, but he seems really smart. So I kept watching his videos. And then he's like, I'm going to make my own cryptocurrency. It's going to be better than Bitcoin. And I was like, yeah, whatever, but I'll hear what you have to say, you know. And I kept checking it out. And he's like, I'm giving it away free to Bitcoin holders. And I was like, sweet. He's like, but it's only to Bitcoin holders on private keys. And at the time, I was like, what the hell is private keys? And I kept trying to figure it out, but it was beyond me at the time. But now I'm the not your keys, not your crypto guy. But at the time, I couldn't understand what it was, and I kept my Bitcoin on a centralized exchange. So when the snapshot happened, I joined the Telegram group, and I was like, "Hey, how do I get my hex?" And they're like, "You don't get the airdrop because you don't have private keys." And they explained to me, and I was like, "Oh man, it sucked." And I wanted to put money into it, but I didn't have any at the time. And then of course it went up a freaking crap ton. And then I also got that Uniswap airdrop too. And if I would have understood how that worked and known I was getting that airdrop, I would have just made multiple wallets and interacted with it, and just got an airdrop on each one. So that was 3 opportunities I had right there to make it. But you know, knowing that I had 3 opportunities in just that little amount of years, you know, gives me confidence and makes me think, well, shit, I'll have plenty more opportunities. You know, if I had 3 chances, I'm going to have 20 more in the next, 5 years probably.
Yeah, it's just about keeping, once you get beat down, right, you just have to stand back up. Like during that time, that 2019 period, because Hex launched in December, like all of 2019, I actually lost my job in like March of that year. And then I was trying to find a job, ran through my entire savings. And I happened to be find a job like 2 months before Hex launched in September, November. Yeah, so like 3 months before, had a job, and then I literally had like $100 or $200 a paycheck that I didn't have to spend, but I thought Hex would be awesome because I looked at the code. I've been in crypto for at that point like 3 years or something, even though I kept on having to restart because I told you before, right? I kept on going to zero because of whatever reason. And I literally started with like a couple $100, and then I just put a couple $100 into AA whenever I got paid, and then I held it, and I sold I think maybe 30% way too early. But because I staked in a ladder, like a 15-year ladder, like 1 to 10 years, and then 11 to 15, like different amounts. I actually have more Hex now than I ever have, even though I sold some way too early, because the power of compounding interest and compounding yield in the Hex contract. So like it really just comes down to like sticking at it, right? And then you go into a bad project, and then you lose everything. Hopefully you learn something from that, and then you take a little bit of money. This is one of the reasons why I also recommend people put in like maybe a month's salary, so that if they put a month's salary into the wrong project, it like goes to zero and they can recover from that. But it's also enough usually that it'll be meaningful amounts of gains too. So you kind of like the best of both worlds. And it translates to like in the Philippines, a month's salary is like $300. Here in the States, it's like 5,000. Yeah, but it just comes down to perseverance, right? And educating yourself, and then taking risks. Not too much risk, just enough risk.
Hey, Papa, are you in here?
Yeah, man. How you doing?
Hey, what's up? So what time is it right now in Japan?
10 a.m.
Right on. So I was in chat. I was in like the text chat here, and somebody mentioned hardware wallets are pointless, and I'm like, how so? And they're like, well, Richard doesn't use them, Vitalik doesn't use them. They just use the private keys without the hardware. I'm like, so you think that generating the private key on the device is pointless? You don't think it's an extra layer of security? And then somebody, I forgot what his name was, but he goes, yeah, Paper Boner convinced me and brainwashed me to buy one and yada, yada, yada. And I'm like, what? Like, why? What's wrong with them? Like, isn't it just an extra layer of security? And it was, I don't know, it was just funny. It was a whole big debate. But I was pretty surprised. I figured like Richard would be using one too, but apparently he doesn't.
Okay, two things. First of all, Vitalik Buterin uses a Gnosis safe, or a derivation of a Gnosis safe plus added security. Which, remember, he's borderline cryptographer himself. So he did his own cipher, which broke up an equation between two physical locations, at least one being with his babushka mama in Russia. So we know exactly how he used to keep all of his goodies in one single Gnosis safe locked down with his own cipher. So that's explaining how, he outlines it all in his Lex Friedman interview. If you want to know exactly how he makes use of his Gnosis safe. And a Gnosis safe is a smart contract, which looks like a wallet, right? So that's a good bit of security right there. But then he bolted on a whole bunch of other knowledge of crypto on top of that. So that's good stuff. Richard is very interesting because it's a liability issue, it's a political issue, and it's a fact that he has, I would say, $1 million security posture. Richard has an in-depth knowledge of networking, and he can actually manage single-handedly his infrastructure, which most likely includes a top-notch hardware, enterprise level firewall. And by the way, Gamma, if I'm off mark, please correct me if I'm wrong. But I imagine that Richard, and this is all assumptions from things, little tidbits that he's laid down in various live streams and texts in the background over the last few years. He's got at least an enterprise level firewall, an IDS, an IPS. He's got a whole bunch of misdirects for attackers. He's got honeypots. He's got virtual machines. He's got all sorts of stuff that you and I, with our skill set, probably and budget, probably do not invest in. The next aspect that you have to consider with Richard's answer is that if he endorses any solution that's not his own, the liability would rest at his shoulders. So he's not going to endorse any solution that he didn't make, including hardware wallet manufacturers. However, he has hinted in the past that he does like hardware wallets with the use of a passphrase. Remember, a passphrase adds a tremendous level of security beyond just the plain vanilla hardware wallet use of deriving 24-word seed phrase and then a 25th unique passphrase that you create that can be up to 100 characters long for a ledger and 50 characters long for a Trezor that rechecksums the entire seed phrase and puts effectively a footnote on the private key, which makes it incredibly difficult to hack should even your passphrase come into the wrong hands. Still impossible, nearly impossible to get into. So
Yeah,
Richard has laid breadcrumbs. Am I right there, Gamma?
yeah, I would say he's doing all the things you just said, and you probably using multiple hardware wallets and multi-sig. That would be like what you would do. But then you have to have all your infrastructure behind strong encryption, strong firewalls, so that somebody can't like break into your system and then exchange your software out like that. Like I've told you the story before about the CEO very high profile CEO of some project who got his laptop hacked into, exchanged MetaMask using a hardware wallet, and then he had like $8 million stolen because he did a transaction with that hacked MetaMask, and he verified it in not very well, and then he approved it, and then $8 million was stolen from him. That was a very sophisticated hack with a high profile person, just like Richard. So he'd have to combat that kind of attack, which I'm sure he is, through all the means you just said, and probably multi-signature, and all that. Yeah,
Absolutely.
he's got a lot of money.
Yeah, right. And by the way, Spiffy, the one thing that you can use to neutralize any argument where people say, you know what, paper wallet's fine. The answer is that a paper wallet is actually fine as long as it's kept completely offline. The question is, when it comes time to interact with that hardware wallet, so that paper wallet, you tell me how you're going to enter in that seed. What front end are you going to enter it into to interact with it? As long as it's offline, it is true, it is highly secure. As secure as a paper wallet. As long as the seeds were not generated from a company, from an app with a company with nothing to lose, that would be stupid, right? And both hardware manufacturers that we recommend in this chat have a tremendous amount to lose if they ever fuck up. And there's somewhere you can go after them if they specifically have screwed you over. So they would be devastated, right? The entire company would fold because it's based on anything that any hardware manufacturer of security would be based on. That is an assurance that what they're doing is all well and good. So again, you have a paper wallet, it's great. If you have one from way back when with Bitcoin from 2016 and you didn't ever have any hardware wallet, you didn't ever import it into any hardware wallet, it's still as secure as a hardware wallet. Still, the cryptography is still intact. If you got a 24-word seed phrase. But how do you input it securely into something other than a hardware wallet where you would be guaranteed a high level of security in doing so? The answer is nowhere. So you'd have to type it into a keyboard, into a front end, to be able to access those funds. And at that point, you could compromise yourself. And we don't like full percentage points of compromise potential. Hardware wallets afford you that. And that's my case.
People who think they're too smart to use a hardware wallet are the people who come into the chat say they got hacked, because they literally aren't that smart. Nobody is.
Hey, speaking of, and this might be a little downgrade in conversation piece, but a quick note. Mr. Popper, good sir, I know you had mentioned it in the past, but I haven't been able to find anything specifically referencing a suggestion for a cheap, affordable, reliable, dedicated machine. I recently found out the hard way that Trezor is not supported on Chromebook, and I'm looking for a new acquirement. If you could maybe give me some direction.
Yeah, sure. And we do talk about that in this chat too. I think it's episode 125 of Discourse Syndicate Wake Up Hex show. We go through an hour-long, weeding down of different makes and models of laptops that you should look at. Those that don't have any vital components that are made in China is the key. And yes, nothing that ends in book other than a Mac product should be considered. So we do talk about that often, and maybe too much, that you shouldn't be getting a Chromebook because it's not supporting hardware wallets. It's just, and it also doesn't have the security patches that you can afford yourself with a full-fledged laptop running a full-fledged OS. They're minor in differences in price. So, just off the top of my head, though, I'd point you to look at lower spec models of HP, Samsung, Macintosh, Apple. Let's see, HP. Oh, Asus from Taiwan. These are all good names that you can explore, but we really go deep into it and get the price points of, let's say, a Chromebook explored in, I think, episode 125 or 126 of the Wake Up Hex show on the Discourse Syndicate channel on YouTube.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, man. Yeah, I've, you know, though in the space for long enough to consider myself OG, I haven't been consistent in my absorption of content. So I really appreciate that, and I will go check out the episode 125. Thank you very much.
Yeah, if it isn't 120, if it isn't 125, come back and I'll hunt it down for you.
I mean, I will
Sounds
say,
good.
Treasure Suite, I found that it's a little buggy on Ubuntu, Linux, but I haven't tried all the distributions. So I'll say that if you're like a Linux guy, you can get it to work, but Treasure Suite's a little bug on Linux.
If you have knowledge of Linux, then that's great. You know, that would be an excellent way to do things.
Yeah,
Unfortunately,
I use the Linux
not much.
for like almost everything, but then I used to use it for my desktop, and desktop is kind of annoying to use. So now I'm back to using Macs.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, Spiffy. I hope that we answered your question.
Yeah, I didn't really have too much of a question, but I was really glad to hear all that stuff. No, I was like, why? I was like, why would, what's wrong with the little extra layer of security having it done on the device? Which there's basically none. It's literally just an extra layer of security. And it's like you always say, why not have the extra layer of security? Even if it gives you a percentage, a 0.5% extra security, why not use it?
Well, I mean,
Some
using a hardware
people,
wallet and generate is way more than 0.5% usage, like of like benefit. It's a huge amount of benefit. It's whether or not these people you're talking to understand the actual like benefit that it has.
agreed.
I mean,
And I
yeah,
mean,
I could.
I have. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was saying is like I could generate a very secure Bitcoin or Ethereum wallet on my computer, offline, basically air gap, blah 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 blah. But then as soon as I try and use it, now it's connected to a computer that's connected to the internet that is like could potentially have malware on it, right? Which using a hardware wallet alleviates like all of that concern. Like I can generate it, but then using the thing is the problem.
Spiffy, you got your mic open, man.
Oh, sorry. Thank you.
Right. So like even very, very intelligent people who understand what's happening on the hardware side, like I said, like I could download the software to generate a very safe, encrypted, like a safe, never seen the internet Ethereum wallet. But now I have to do a transaction, and now that computer has to be connected to the internet to use a transaction, like to pass the transaction to the internet. and now that's a security vulnerability. And the private key is on the computer, which is what we don't want, to have the best layer of security possible. And having a hardware wallet keeps all that off the machine. Like, it's a no-brainer to me, and it should be pretty
Yeah,
easy to understand.
yeah. All soft wallets, MetaMask specifically, has a seed store file that's it's very questionably encrypted, meaning that the decryption can be accomplished by entering in the password to actually log into MetaMask. And there's an exploit called Mars Stealer that targets effectively every soft wallet you've ever heard of, with MetaMask at the top of the list, that comes in on a breeze into your PC. Like Gamma has said, malware comes in and out all the fucking time. And it specifically is an exploit that targets that seed store file, copies it, waits until you put in your password, collects that password, pairs it with the seed store file, and phones home and sends that file with the password, all in one nice tiny little bow, over to the attacker, where they can just get into your wallet and share it with you. And of the hundreds of people over the last 2 years that have DM'd me saying that they got wiped, I'd say half of them apologize and say, I really didn't take the hardware wallet thing seriously because I thought that I knew better. And I don't discriminate. I offer them as much solace as I can provide, but their money ain't coming back. And we get them started again the right way. So people that think they know better, I take no pride in knowing better than them in this one regard. It's not a fun thing to be both a practitioner of security as best I can and an undertaker when it comes time to bury your freaking, loss. It's not fun.
Real quick to butt in and finish that subject. It was indeed episode 125, just for archives purposes, and it was Wake Up Hex Show. So, like you said, much appreciated.
Nice, man. Thanks.
It's also probably that people are generally lazy by nature, and then validate that laziness by thinking to themselves, it's not going to happen to me anyway. I really don't need to worry about it. But you're so great about bringing that to the forefront of all these people that do DM you and let you know to help others that it will happen and it can happen to them. And it's going to happen potentially at any given point in time, the more open resources you give to hackers. So it's better to play it safe and be ready.
Well, I mean, and there's also the fact that the majority, and Papa Boner could say if I'm wrong about this, but I'd say 99% plus of people who get hacked literally gave their seeds away. So it's not even these sophisticated hacks we're talking about that get people rinsed. Usually it's them giving their shit away. So, like those type of people, it's hard to help those type of people.
Falls into that Darwinism kind of category, but that 1% where most of us lie in potentiality is still enough to go out of our way to educate, and that 1% can still equate to a lot of potential danger for the real people.
Oh yeah,
And that's,
I mean, I use hardware wallets. I'm a proponent of them.
is worth many pounds of cure or dollars or whatever currency it equates to.
So, here's an example. Like, somebody comes in the chat and they say, I'm using a hardware wallet, but my money got stolen. And then you ask 2 or 3 simple questions, and you find out they had a migrated MetaMask wallet that was dormant. Somebody hacked it a long time ago, and then now it finally has money, and they stole all the money. Yeah, having a migrated treasure, yes, you want to do that, but if the seeds were stolen before you migrated it, or if you didn't follow the procedures and you migrate it to a treasure, but then you didn't delete your MetaMask from your phone or your computer, which happens sometimes, then you're like, well, you didn't really help yourself. So, like, it's
Sophisticated
important. The
cancer.
details are important.
Knowing the trail and remembering your steps, leaving breadcrumbs of safety.
Yeah, I mean, I have a MetaMask that I've had for 4 years, but no actual money is ever on it. It hasn't been for 4 years. I use it for testnet. It's the one. It's on MetaMask. It's labeled testnet only, so no actual ever real money is ever stored with those private keys ever. I use it for testnet. I don't care if testnet coins get stolen. It's literally testnet. I'll just get some more, and it's labeled testnet only, so I can never make a mistake of accidentally depositing real money into those accounts ever. Simple things.
Those little things that save financial lives. We are forgetful creatures and emotional creatures, and every step we can take to mitigate our own potential downfalls, all it takes is one second, one slip up, and that's that 1%.
Plus, because I've used that account for so long, I basically have it memorized, so I can never make the mistake of depositing money into it because I literally know half of the address, and I go, "Oh, this is my testnet address. This isn't. I don't need. I need to use this other address." And I've been using that address because it's been my treasure address forever. Although I do have another one that's a 24-word seed phrase that I'm migrating stuff to as I get access to it, per improving your security over time.
Yep, as complex as we can get while staying within the realms and limits of our own cognitive abilities. But it sounds like you have a good approach.
Well, I mean, once you know how to use the hardware wallets, it's really not that hard. Now, I've heard of some people who've gone overboard where they've had like a dozen. Papa Bono's probably got a dozen. I might consider that to be a little overboard, but sure. But then it's like, how do you store the seeds? And if you have a good security posture with your physical security, then sure, you can go there. You can increase it.
Exactly, and to each their own in that sense.
I mean, there probably going to be a time where I maybe have 10 or 12 hardware wallets, all geographically located and secured and blah, 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 just to, isolate assets so that, if something happens to one, it doesn't affect the others.
Exactly, and doing what we can, because we know in the past there has been, at the time, what seemed like impossible breaches of security when it comes to the, cold storage devices, and it's best if we just assume that anything is still hackable and do whatever we can to mitigate that while staying within our own personal and cognitive limits.
Yeah,
And always, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Papa.
I was just going to say that always keep an eye out for the latest and greatest. I'm looking forward to the next iteration from a good hardware manufacturer. Technology trails events, though, so there's no motivation to improve security until there's an exploit. Day zero attack occurs, and something gets breached. That's a sad fact about security. The security professionals and companies always trail the exploits. So you wait until something happens, and then you pivot and you create something to patch it or some new solution to solve that problem. Otherwise, a lot of these gimmicky hardware manufacturers and know-it-alls, uh, are effectively blindfolded, shooting arrows in different directions, hoping that they hit a target. And that's not effective. Like, come and get the Swiss Army knife of crypto over here. It does this pseudo air gapping type of method. And you say, wait a minute, this is solving a problem that doesn't exist. It's nice. I think it kind of hits on a few emotional, you know, dog whistles that I am responding to. But is it really doing anything to answer any threat? Does it really keep anything out that a hardware wallet, the normal standard one from Ledger or Trezor, doesn't do? And the answer is hell no, it doesn't. So we're waiting for the next best thing, but we have to see a day zero attack to make the others, to neutralize the security on a Ledger or Trezor first.
Much of what we can do is dependent on controllable variables, and there's always going to be uncontrollable variables within our, within this space, and really any space. And all it would take, for a fairly bad example, but an example would be somebody that schemes a large enough complex attack on, say, finding the shipping center for, say, Trezors, and knowing and getting on the inside of the courier service, and that 1 day delay in shipping could potentially lead to a large amount of potentially hacked wallets, depending on yada yada. But it just comes down to, we got to do what we can to control the variables we can control, and then react accordingly to the ones we cannot, unfortunately, past tense. A little obscure and out there. Sorry if that derailed anything.
No, that's fine. That's relevant.
$85 worth of insurance to protect potentially millions of dollars of assets effectively. Why wouldn't you take it?
Percent agree with that.
It's just too hard.
Yeah,
Majority will know.
There's some guy who hasn't shown his face since the AA opened, shortly after the AA opened for Hex. Goes by the call sign Old Man Hex. Haven't seen him around. He and I had a debate at the very beginning. He argued that none of it would impede his onboarding process too much to suggest that his fresh onboards used a hardware wallet. And I think I've been cleaning up after him ever since. And he's nowhere to be found to take responsibility. So he's kind of like the specter, the ghost that I'm competing with still. Imagining that everybody that I'd help in that age group was directly onboarded by Old Man Hex.
But Papa, here you'll relate to this. I was also day one, the year before Hex, and when the AA was in, I was going under another username, but whenever I would suggest people use a hardware wallet, they would openly mock me, and it would be like shun practice, and I was like, it was like the stupidest thing, like literally like using a hardware wallet seems like you should be good, and they were like, no, MetaMask is fine, and it would literally be talked down upon for even suggesting that people use a hardware wallet. And this is like early days AA.
Yep. Me too, man.
I
This
can
is like
relate
4
too.
usernames
It's
before,
crazy.
but it's like it was crazy. People expect, just saying like, no, you don't need a hardware wallet. MetaMask is fine. Like all the while, I'm using a hardware wallet, and my stuff is good. But like so many are not.
Most
It really
destruction's always
sucks.
silver lining, and what we're seeing now, as far as all these centralized exchanges getting wrecked and being compromised, and their fine print being exposed in every direction possible, the dangers of trusting others outside of code. We're seeing a lot of unprecedented compromise happening right now, and perhaps the silver lining to all this devastation that's happening to so many people that didn't hedge, didn't mitigate, didn't care, whatever degree of lackadaisical approach. Perhaps it's just maybe, hopefully, an expansion upon that general mindset of those who, more often than not, tend to be new and tend to be ignorant and tend to be riding the high of easy money, that we know as more veterans within the space doesn't actually exist long term. Perhaps that mindset will begin to shift in the right direction, and all we can do is just remain steadfast in our ability to reiterate physics and truth and the way the world works. Security.
Unfortunately, a lot of people, they do security by obscurity, by meaning they have an anonymous name, like I do, and they go, well, that's good enough, but they're not going to be targeted. But like Papa Bono just said, there's a program that's just spread across the entire internet that isn't targeting you. It's just targeting like the internet. And so if you don't protect yourself from that, then you're going to end up getting wrapped up into it, and your shit's going to get stolen. If you don't do like just the basic internet security practices of, right, not clicking on porn sites and like going to other places you shouldn't be, not like if using a hardware wallet is beneficial because your private key's not on the computer in case that gets malwared up. It's like basic stuff. And nobody's targeting you. You're an internet user that's using a wallet, crypto wallet. So you are being targeted, like everybody is.
Exactly, and that's the differentiation that needs to be made in most people's heads when they're approaching it, especially new, is that it's not you specifically. You could be as anonymous as you want to, but when at the end of the day you're just an IP address in a soup of IP addresses that could be easily compromised on a large scale. And like you said, it's just that basic common knowledge and common sense that you would think people would adhere to, especially when they end up in in large invested interests. But unfortunately, people just don't necessarily start there. And those that do, obviously, are usually almost 100% of the time totally safe and fine. But the only cases
But
we hear of,
it'll never happen to them, right? That's why they don't do the
never,
basics. It'll never happen to them.
never will. It's all comfy cozy and all puppy dogs and hummingbirds until all of a sudden one day everything's gone. And so 99% is like you said, or it might have been you, but it's almost unavoidable Darwinism, or Darwin awards, but it's that 1% that is what we're here to try to protect and what we're here to try to help educate. And it's that 1% that really matters when push comes to shove. And
Yeah. So here's funny. So I have a guy. I train jujitsu, so my coach is like, I'm talking to him about Pulsechain business coming up, and I go, hey, I know about this thing you can put money into. If you want, I'll talk you through the process. He's a cool guy. Teach me jujitsu. I spend like a lot of time with him. No problem. And so, like, obviously, I got his hardware wallet. But one of the things I said, which is relevant to what you just said, was I was like, if you ever are in a situation where you are thinking about getting your 12 or 24 word seeds, and if you're safe where they are, you need to call me immediately so that I can tell you to slap yourself in the face right now, so you don't do it. You know what I mean?
That's
Because there's
really
no
good. Yeah.
reason for you ever, for a third party, anybody ever, for you to need to take your 12 or 24 word seeds out of your safe and then put it anywhere. It'll never happen.
It's a great example.
I mean, of course, unless you need the, your treasure breaks or whatever. That's like the only reason. But he's like new, so I'm trying to help him with the best security practice possible. And I thought that was funny. So that's all I said.
Perfect, man. And worst case scenario is a literal gun to the head kind of scenario, and in that case, we've lost in a certain environmental sense, and then we can do our best to add layers of potential recourse there. And some people want to get as obscure as not having access to their phrases and decentralizing it to that sense. And at a certain point, it's just we can only do so much, but we can do the bare minimum, and the bare minimum is so much better than most people end up getting
Well, now
into it
you
and
have
accepting.
right now you're talking about physical security instead of like internet security, which is a completely different thing, right?
Right. Yeah. Good.
Like,
Good
where do
point.
you
Yeah.
store your seeds at? Do you have like a another like visible safe with $1,000 in a hardware wallet that, like, if somebody breaks into your house, they're gonna steal, and then you have like another safe that's like somewhere very safe that like they can't find easily, or even if somebody breaks into your house and does that whole gun to that thing, do you direct them to the safe that has money, but like now the majority of your stuff's not being compromised, right? It's a bad situation, but it's like, unless you think about that, then you're not prepared for it. I wish I actually need to be better prepared for that myself, and so I'm going through the steps myself to like be better prepared for physical security. But as your balance increases, then the amount of time you have to spend on this also increases.
Exactly. And the cybersecurity is absolutely fundamental, and it's 101. It's the first layer of personal security, and then when it comes to physical security, it's like I only want to be represented by all you can do is make it absolutely positively and visually, like, it's what you want to portray, that what you can give somebody is all you have. So it's good to have two versions of yourself in that sense when it comes to physical security.
Yeah, I always thought, just an idea. This isn't what I'm doing. It's an idea. It's an example. And I was like, okay, having like a safe in your master bedroom closet, which is, by the way, like the worst place possible to put a safe. I know that. I watched the video and I've researched this. But like, say you
Or the
had that, but
bed,
you had
possibly.
a couple bars of gold in there, something like nice and shiny. Like, that's probably going to be taken, and they're probably going to be really happy, and they're going to leave. Saying.
Exactly what I was getting at is having low hanging fruit to um, essentially de-escalate an unfortunate situation you never should have been in the first place. But depending on where you live and depending on how you got there, it's good to have a surface layer of yourself that can be compromised to a certain degree, for lack of better terms, and then your true self is undetectable and It's a good way to
And then
approach physical security.
I was watching a video earlier also, but it wasn't about that specifically. It was about how do you hide assets from, say, just like public domain, like people looking up your name and seeing what you have. And there's ways to do that. You can mask yourself as like a high net worth individual through trust, and that's not even like a tax avoidance kind of a situation. That's just like literally like showing that you are not like a person that like should be targeted because you don't have anything. Like there's that, and then there's and then masking where you live from the internet is kind of difficult, but it's still possible. And then coming down the forums like this, but not with your real name, that's also beneficial. And then there's also the physical security aspect you have to worry about. You know, as your balance sheet increases, then these are the things you have to worry about. I'm not quite there yet where I have to be very, very, very cognizant of it. But like, let's see, the next bull market happens. You know what I mean? I might need to think about it a lot more than I'm thinking about it now, which I'm already thinking about a little bit.
Which would only add value down the road to thinking about it earlier, and you know, you could definitely benefit by amplifying your situation now in your mind and taking the steps with, you know, it shouldn't take a little now to secure yourself, and yeah, absolutely, it's why take the risk no matter what you have. It ultimately just comes down to what matters most, and it's our health and our security, and more often than not, our family's health and security as a result.
I mean, you don't have to go to the extremes like Richard, where he won't even admit like what country he's living in. He lives in Europe somewhere. So, you know, but then I also don't admit like what state I'm in because nobody really matters. I'm in the central United States. It doesn't really matter where I live. Although I have let it slip sometimes. I've slightly docked myself.
Hey, what's up,
really
guys?
hard to keep that shit.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
What's up?
How are you guys? Everybody good? No doubt, man. That's what's up. What's up? I have a quick question, guys. I'm sorry to cut you guys off. I had a question. I was looking at the PulseX, you know, the testnet and everything. Is it possible for us to swap some of our PulseX tokens over to Pulse right now, or no?
Only on testnet.
Sorry.
Only on testnet. Testnet
Okay,
isn't mainnet, so anything you
okay.
do on testnet is just, you know, practice.
Oh, okay, gotcha. So it will automatically revert back to PulseX then if I tried to do that, right?
So
To simply answer your question, it's no right now.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
just to give you also a little bit of a perspective. So this is just a testnet right now, right? There will be a snapshot of ETH because it's a hard fork. And then you got that window where you can swap based on ratio. And then when the bot comes in to distribute value, that's the time when it really goes live.
Okay, so basically, I'm sorry, go ahead.
That was a little, okay, let me explain a little bit more clear.
Yeah,
The
sure,
network
go ahead.
gets booted up by the devs privately, and the AMM bot like takes the liquidity from like Uniswap, Swap, and then extracts that from those contracts and deposit it in PulseX. And then once all that is done, now we as a community, like you and I, get access to the RPC settings so we can actually access the network, right, publicly, so we can start doing swaps and everything. The bridge is not live yet, so we can have zero value in all the assets, but we can swap in ratios on PulseX from 26 to 48 hours. Sometime you can do the ratio swapping. And
that's sick. So basically, I'm sorry, hold on one second. So basically, 24 to 48 hours before it officially launches, we'll have a little window where we could say if I want to take half my tokens and swap it for Pulsechain, I can do that. And then once we officially launch, I'll have half and half, PulseX and half Pulsechain, right? Is that what
Yeah,
you're saying?
we will have already been launched. When you get to
Okay.
the RPC settings, that's launch for us. The
Okay.
bridge where you can actually move your asset, right, your Pulse to Ethereum, and then you can trade it on Uniswap for like USDC. So then you can like bring USDC or US dollars into Pulsechain or out. That's 24 to 26 to 24, 48 hours or whatever, right? Basically like
Okay.
more than a day. That's when going back and forth to Ethereum. But Pulsechain will be live. You will be able to access it. You will be able to use PulseX to trade Pulse to PulseX or PulseX to Pulse at whatever ratio, like whatever amount that is at that time. No problem. It's live at that point.
Okay. And so basically, Pulsechain is not live right now, right?
No, only testnet.
Testnet. Okay, cool. So on the Pulsechain, there is PulseX, correct? Am I right or wrong?
Yes, the exchanges, everything is fully functional
Mhm.
on testnet right now.
Okay. So that means when
The
once we have
bridge
the
is
RPC.
live.
Mhm.
So the bridge is live on testnet. PulseX is live on testnet. The network's fully functional on testnet. Yeah.
Okay, so once the RPCs are available, is that when people can start buying PulseX and Pulsechain right away?
That's when you can access your funds in your wallet on Pulsechain, and you
Mhm.
can use PulseX. By buying, do you mean like have US dollars and buy Pulse?
Like say for instance, I don't have, say I didn't do a sacrifice, right? And I'm just a new investor, and also the RPC is available. Now I want to use my USDC that I have in my wallet, in my MetaMask wallet. So I'm gonna put the RPC for Pulsechain in my MetaMask, and now I can use my USDC at that point to purchase PulseX and Pulsechain. Is that correct?
Yeah, USDC that is copied would be there. We don't know exactly how much liquidity there would be for that
Okay.
asset, but yeah, any asset you had on Ethereum at the time of the fork, you would have on Pulsechain in your wallet on the Pulsechain network.
Okay, so there's a question right there. Hold on one second. So USDC is getting copied, snapshotted onto the Pulsechain. I'm sorry.
That's
You
in
were
a
cutting.
later. Yeah, that's in a later. That's gonna happen later. It's not gonna happen at the beginning.
Okay, so how does somebody
No,
purchase?
I was muted. Here, let me answer the
Oh,
question. I
okay.
was muted when I was answering it. Sorry.
Okay,
So
okay, go ahead.
USDC in Ethereum is copied one for one on the Pulsechain. It will not have a dollar value, $1 value. It'll have some ratio. We don't know how much liquidity there would be in a USDC to Pulse pool on PulseX. We don't have any of that information, but you would get the copy. And then like Parkway production is talking about the bridge, which is 26 to 48 hours later, where you can bridge your USDC from Ethereum on the Pulse chain and then swap it. So
Oh,
that's
so
a little bit
people won't
later.
be able to. Okay, so people won't be able to actually purchase Pulsechain or PulseX until, like, I'm talking about somebody who hasn't sacrificed won't be able to purchase PulseX or Pulsechain until it's allowed to be bridged. Is that correct?
Well, I mean,
So
that's bridging in new money, but any asset you have on Ethereum will get copied to Pulse chain.
No,
So
that's fine. I completely understand. No, that's fine. I understand that. But say I'm a new
these assets
investor and I
will
don't
have
have
Pulse.
anything. I'm sorry.
So if you say here's an example. Say you have nothing in an Ethereum wallet on Ethereum. So you have
Yeah.
zero on Pulse chain. If you wanted to get in, then you would need to wait for the bridge, 26 to 48 hours. Then you'd have to buy USDC from somewhere like Coinbase. And then you could buy Pulse on Uniswap on Ethereum and then bridge the Pulse to Pulse chain, or theoretically at some point in the future you would actually be able to bridge Ethereum USDC to Pulse chain. So we don't know what assets are going to be available.
Wow, this is gonna be a very interesting launch, man. I can't even imagine. I'm excited, and I'm excited to.
There's a lot of moving pieces, buddy.
Yeah, exactly. That's not.
It's kind of
Yeah,
complicated.
see that. Yeah, I see that. It's gonna be interesting though, man. I can't wait till we launch, man. I hope this market starts recovering so that we can just shoot to the moon.
So let me ask you a question, but do you, by any chance, is that like your game theory? You want to like go from USDC into Pulsechain?
No, not at all. I have friends who have not sacrificed any tokens, so they asked me, and I was also wondering how they can just purchase PulseX and Pulsechain. I've only PulseX, right? So I also want to purchase Pulsechain, right? So I guess it's a question for me as well. But I also have friends who want to invest who haven't sacrificed anything. So I wanted to know how that process works. So I completely understand now that until the bridge
So
is not there, they won't be able to
yeah,
purchase, or neither will I.
Well, I
I
mean,
get
but
that now.
dude,
yeah,
but
yeah,
I
yeah.
have to
So I would
reiterate the
say,
fact that
wait, buddy, I'm talking here. Sorry. I would say to
okay,
that,
okay, go ahead.
the one thing that I suggest that you should not have during the snapshot or before it goes live is Ethereum, because one ETH equals one pulse, right?
Yeah, I don't
You
have
get what
any
I mean?
Ethereum in this. This wallet is the wallet that I have is completely my Pulse X wallet is its own wallet, and I have it secured and everything. I have nothing on there. I'm not snapshotting nothing because I didn't really
Did you
care
get
for that.
yourself a hardware wallet too?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, fantastic. What did you get? Ledger
Zerion.
or Treasure? Sorry,
I'm sorry.
what did you get? What is it called?
Sorry, what'd you say?
I was asking what the name of the wallet is.
Oh, the ledger. The ledger.
Oh, you got the ledger? Okay, cool. Dope.
Yeah, yeah, I have a ledger. I already had a few ledgers for my previous.
Did you
And
did
I
you
have one ledger specifically for. Like
cool
last week, I was on here and some gentleman, I forgot who it was. He told me.
Papa Boner?
Oh,
Was it
okay. He
was
told
it
me
Papa
not to
Boner?
use because I had this other one which I was going to use, but he told me it was like a Chinese company, so I shouldn't use it. So I ended up
Yeah,
purchasing a
yeah, yeah.
ledger.
Good job, good job. Very important, man. Yeah, listen to Papa Boner. There are very smart heads always in here. Profex is another one. If you want to talk game theory, they all have very good knowledge in all different fields. And yeah, man,
Uh,
hang around and you're gonna learn. Like I've personally learned here a lot of shit. So
yeah, it's cool, man. And plus, this is since this is deflationary, right? That means that if I right off the get go, if I are we gonna first of all, I don't know if there's an answer for this, but as soon as we launch, as soon as the RPC is available, will we be able to stake our Pulse X immediately?
yeah, that's gonna be available right off the bat.
Okay, that's cool. Because in the beginning is going to be probably the best time to stake it because it hasn't deflated just yet. Correct? Am I right or am I wrong?
I was under the impression you're talking about Hex, but yeah, PulseX should be having the same thing. I mean, I know it's a DEX. I know there's a voting system in it. Uh,
And it's
there's a lot
deflationary,
of.
correct?
If somebody has the correct answer, please step up because I'm driving and I'm running blank right now.
Yeah, is Pulse X a deflationary token? That's what I'm under the impression from some of the videos that I've been watching on YouTube. And I also heard that Pulse X is the only AMM. Will have its own only. There's only going to be one AMM, so there's not going to be like other ones like with the Ethereum, like how Ethereum has like a bunch of different ones like Sushi Swap or this swap or that swap. Like there's only going to be one. Is that correct?
All right, so it's deflationary, yes,
Awesome.
and and
Any of the
PulseX
guys in
will
here like
be
Profex
the main
or
AMM, the most
Walrus
liquidity,
or
but there's
Lang
no way to.
or
All right, I'm talking over someone
I think a Jackinator
who
would
can't
do it
hear me.
too.
There can be
I'll
other
talk to you.
DEXs. There can be other AMMs. Make no mistake, no one can stop it. But
Okay.
what Richard is doing is he's endeavoring to have all the liquidity. The greatest liquidity will probably be on PulseX for all time. So
Okay.
PulseX will be the main.
Got it. Okay, cool. Sounds good. Yeah, I'm just preparing myself. I can't wait, man, until we launch. And like I can't even wait to I don't even know what's gonna happen. I don't know if it's gonna just shoot up right away or there's gonna be a bunch of people that's just gonna sell right away because you know how obviously whatever you sacrifice right off the rip you already you've many x'd your whatever your investment was. So it's just gonna be interesting to see the nature of how we're going to launch. I'm really excited for that.
I think we all are. It's enough excitement in concept that it's kept us sitting here on the edge of our seats for damn well near a year already.
Yeah, I bet. Definitely, man. Pretty crazy. I really hope that we do launch in the next couple of months. Hopefully, I have a feeling we might, but you know, you never know. I could be totally wrong. You know, I'm assuming that we're gonna launch when the market starts to recover. That's just my hunch. I don't know. I've seen a lot of videos. I've seen a bunch of people talking in the chat. I think that maybe that the reason we haven't launched is because I'm not sure. Maybe the market is not so great. Maybe that's why. But whatever the case is, I trust Richard hard. I'm sure we're gonna be good regardless.
Oh yeah, I mean he's in either intentionally or unintentionally. You're saving yourself a round trip, which doesn't make the chart look great, and will put a pit in your stomach while you're watching your asset go down in value. Why not just
Yeah.
wait it out? You know, your sacrifice is safe.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. That's why I feel like I have this hunch that he might launch when the market starts to start booming, and I just can't. I hope that that's the case, and all we see is just a moonshot. That'll be beautiful. And whoever sells in the beginning, man, RIP to those people, because I know for a fact that the whole world is talking about the Richard Hart's projects. Even the competitors, I bet they're going to be investing in here as well. Richard Hart's track record is pretty awesome, you know, and his insight on the market. What I've noticed, you know, Hex did a 10,000x, and that means that the next projects that he's launching are probably going to be even better and better, you know. So I have a really good feeling about this.
Even beyond recent history, go back to the very beginning of his YouTube channel. That man, he's been on point and 100% genuine, helpful human for a long time now, and I can attest that he's a lifesaver.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you on that. I'm sure he is. Definitely, I'm gonna start watching some of his really old videos. I've only started really getting into Richard Hart stuff since I'd say November, December is when I started hearing about it. Actually, one of my friends who's a Hexagon, he's the one who got me into this. He became a multimillionaire off of Hex. He told me like I have to buy PulseX. So I was like, all right, let me do it. Let's see what's going on. And then I just started discovering how big the community is and all of this, and started looking into it. Everything seems pretty awesome. The fact that this is like a blockchain launch, that's pretty freaking. That's just gangster. Like that's sick. This is not just like any token, you know. This is sick.
It's unprecedented for sure. You're on the cusp of something that hasn't been done yet, and yeah, dude, do yourself a favor. Go back to the very beginning of his YouTube channel. You'll trip out on it. They're short and it's different, but man, if you can put yourself in the shoes of somebody back then, 2017, might have been 16, but I think it was 17 when that channel started. But I remember that first video, and holy shit, it was yeah, it literally saved my life, and now it's memeable gold, and it still holds up. It's still valuable information, and still invaluable perspective to a lot of people. And yeah, welcome, and yeah, wait it out and enjoy the ride, man. It's gonna be amazing.
Yeah,
And it has
man.
been. There's a lot of those millionaire friends, that's for sure.
Yeah, man, for sure. Thank you, man. I'm super excited, dude. Like this is I just look at the Pulse X window I have like this wide screen, and like 1/3 of my screen is just watching the numbers go up and down on the test net. That's all I watch on one side of this of my screen, and I'm doing all types of shit on the other side, but I always have 1/3 of the screen dedicated to Pulse X. So I'm excited, dude.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun to watch, but ultimately, do what you can to understand the psychology of what you're looking at and mitigating that chemical addiction to just watching things go up and down too. That's something important to watch, and recognizing yourself from a removed perspective, and enjoy the ride, but also enjoy the fundamentals of it, and that you don't have to constantly be watching stuff. And I know it's fun, and I know it's rewarding, and almost more so now than ever is it important to watch and interact with testnet, because it'll put you in a place that can really protect you and from making mistakes once it is live. And to have a plan and to
Yeah.
have a strategy is invaluable right now going into it, because once it launches, it could be something that is so incredible to witness that you might lose some footing, and you might get caught up in emotional precursors, and it's possible to lose your perspective and get that chemical fix going harder than you can mitigate. And
I'm definitely
yeah.
I'm definitely not gonna be emotional at that time. That's the number one thing I won't be. I will watch. I know that hopefully I know I have this gut feeling like the number is gonna keep going up, the dollar value, but I'm not gonna touch it because in the next year or two, man, I'm expecting something big returns. Because after seeing Hex, the history of Hex, and then Pulse, and then that's on Ethereum right now. This is its own blockchain, so I can only imagine what's gonna happen here. And the fact that there won't be any bullshit like that there was like on other like on Ethereum and stuff, we won't have to worry about all the bugs and nonsense from there. I have a feeling that this is gonna be the one for the world, because nobody else is doing this. I haven't seen anything else like this.
And you're very much not alone in that. Yeah, just make goals, make plans, write things out, map it out, think it out, do everything you can from every angle, and just have strategies. And lives are saved, miracles are made, and 5-year plans. And if you're lucky, you can make those 5-year plans 15-year plans, 20-year plans, and so on and so on. And yeah, just have it all mapped out for yourself is the greatest favor any of us can do for our future
100%,
self.
man. Listen, I'm gonna tell you right now, this is just a personal thing, but if I see this thing like 20-30x just from the launch, I'll tell you right now that I might just to survive, I might end up taking 1/10 of my shares out just to survive. You know what I mean? And quit my job, and I'll be like, all right, man, it's gonna take a 1/10 or 1/8 of it, and just let the rest ride.
Everybody is an individual story, man. You got to do what you have to do that benefits you the most, and whatever you got to do to structure it right and improve your life to be able to better improve others' lives, then do that. Absolutely.
For sure. And that actually leads me to my next question for you guys, actually. So one thing I was thinking about was, so if I did want to, so say my dollar amount just for shits and giggles, hypothetically speaking, goes to like, say I'm at like 500K, right? For hypothetical reasons, right? And I want to take out, say like 60, 70, $80,000 out of there, right? So all I'm going to be using is the tokens that we got from the faucet in order to swap those over to USDC, right? Or I think it's going to be USDC or USDT, one or the other, right? Is that correct?
From the faucet?
Yeah. So you remember in the beginning, we there was a beginning of the testnet. Everybody was given a certain amount of tokens from the faucet. I think it's called the faucet, right? and we got a certain amount of tokens to play with the testnet, aside from whatever we got from our sacrifice.
Right. Yes. Yeah. So what was the hypothetical?
So my hypothetical question was, say I'm like at a certain dollar amount, and and once we got the RPC and we're fully launched, and I want to take a certain amount out, I'm gonna use those specific tokens that we got from the faucet in order to trade to swap to USDC or USDT. Is that what's gonna be used?
Yeah. So you'll want to explore information based within the Pulse bridge, and that's what you'll be using to off ramp. Sorry, back into Ethereum, if that's what you want to do. But yeah, you'll have to bridge it out of the Pulsechain ecosystem to be able to bring it back into USDC, and then do with that what you wish.
Okay, so if I'm for instance, if I'm trying to switch PulseX for once we're bridged, I'm trying to switch to USDC, I would have to use the faucet, or I'd have to switch to Ethereum first, and then from Ethereum switch to USDC.
The faucet is only complementary. It only will give you a small amount just to be able to, essentially, its main purpose is to pay for transaction fees.
Right.
The faucet only gives. It doesn't act as any kind of transactionary mechanism outside of just giving a little bone to be able to transact within the network. So it's the bridge, I think, is the word you're looking for, the bridge, not the
Okay.
faucet.
Okay, gotcha. All right, cool. Sounds good. So I'll just be directly, basically, if say I want to take like, say 5 tokens from PulseX, I want to switch it over to USDC, I would just do direct PulseX to USDC.
Essentially, yeah. That should
Okay.
be essentially the process.
Okay, cool.
It could be multiple steps. I mean, there won't be only one bridge for very long. There'll be multiples, but yeah, PulseX into to whatever out source you choose.
Okay, and then whatever the fee would be automatically subtracted from PulseX to switch over to whatever bridged asset that I'm switching it over to.
Be the same as paying gas now if you were getting rid of something into USDC on the Ethereum network, you pay gas and you'll be paying the same equivalent, but just as far as monetary value, it'll be far, far, far less.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's the same. So you'll be paying gas fees.
Okay. All right. Cool. Sounds good. Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
I'm sure there's others that can explain it better, but yeah, that's it.
No, I understand. I just was, that's the one thing that I was a little slightly confused about, because those specific tokens that we got specifically for transactional reasons or whatever, I was wondering like, oh, do I have to have a certain amount of those tokens in order to, swap PulseX to USDC or whatever other bridge asset there is or whatever, but this answered my question. So I just need to directly do from Pulse X to USDC. Those tokens don't even matter at the point of launch. Those are just there for testnet purposes to transact and do stuff, right? And play with the testnet, correct?
Familiar, yep, and to just test it and try to break it and give feedback to the devs and yeah. So if you've played around on the Ethereum network, essentially PulseX is the equivalent of Uniswap, and if you've ever done any transactions within Uniswap, then you understand the whole entire process. So it's the same thing. So everything you do on the Ethereum network now is going to be exactly the same as it is once Pulsechain is live. It's just there'll be different names behind things. So that's about it.
Got it, man. Thanks a lot, guys. Appreciate it.
And it's always great to get these kind of questions just to bring it down to base fundamentals. And
Yeah, and I'm sure I'm not the only one. I'm sure there's other people constantly coming in and out of the chat rooms, want to ask questions, and hopefully this helped other people as well. But I appreciate all the answers and all the input, guys. I'm gonna head out. I'll talk to you guys later. But you guys take care. I'll be back later. Peace.
guarantee you are not alone, and it's some of the most important stuff to be reiterating at this point. So yeah, have a good night, brother. Thanks for the questions.
Thank you, man. You too. Peace. Later, bye.
Friday Night Hangout is live on Discourse Syndicate for anybody who is here and doesn't know that already. Just putting it out there.
Don't think I know that channel.
YouTube Discourse Syndicate. It's the OG X channel.
Discourse.
Yeah, DISCOURSE space Syndicate. SYNDICATE. Was started back pre Hex launch, pre adoption amplifier days. It was started by RG3, Crypto Coffee, Hexologist, and I know I'm missing a couple names there that'll come to mind in a second, but a historical monument in the Hex archives.